be brief, unlike the amount of time it's going to take me to complete the hike tomorrow. My name's Travis. This is my beautiful wife, Bree. We're here also with her mother, Lisa, and the little terror I was trying to contain is her daughter, Ray Luna. They're off to bed. But I'm here to hike for my wife's cousin, Jack, who lost his battle with CF at the age of 24 2 years ago, and also now for her daughter. So thank you to you guys for opening up and sharing your stories. That's not easy to do in front of strangers. I know some of you guys aren't strangers, but I don't know many of you, and that's why I'm here. That's why we're here, to get to know the community better and to garner mutual support in whatever way we can. So thanks to you guys for opening up. We hopefully have a very long road ahead of us, but should be a good one.
Texas. This is my first hike, and I was really scared when you said the rocks. And I was like, am I climbing rocks? He's like, when you put your hands, anyways. My oldest son is 19, and he has cystic fibrosis, and Trikafta changed his life. He is under his doctor's care and off of all of his treatments and all of the medication but Trikafta. And he does, it's kind of a long story, but with his doctor's care, he's off of everything else. And he's living on his own, doing life, taking pills 3 times a day, and he's doing great. And it's thanks to so much you guys. So I walked for him and this whole community that I found when he was diagnosed. So everybody, thanks for being here from all over the place, and I'm really excited about tomorrow, which is kind of crazy because it's going to be 15 miles. I'm excited.
I'm on the board of the foundation in the San Diego chapter. As I mentioned, my sister has cystic fibrosis, but she's one of the fortunate ones. She's 46 years old. She has a 17-year-old son. But I will say Trikafta has been amazing for her. It's, she comes, when I first talked to her about it, and I've heard this from many, many people, the word that I keep hearing is normal. And it's, she said she was, I feel normal, which is, I've never heard her say. When it comes to who I'm hiking for, obviously, of course, I'm hiking for my sister, but I wanted to also talk about, growing up in the CF community. Back when we were growing up, it was a lot different. This was before, isolated hospital rooms and things like that. They used to put all the CF kids in the same room. And then we would go to, there was a camp in San Diego called Camp Pillfeather. And they used to load all the CF kids and their siblings up, and we'd all go to camp together. But while it was so amazing and so unbelievable for them to be able to kind of communicate and commiserate with other CF patients, the other part that you deal with is losing so many of them along the way. So many of my sister's friends and so many of the kids that we met, whether it was through the hospital, which we could spend 3 to 6 months out of the year going to constantly, whether it was the kids we met in Camp Pillfeather, so many of them are gone. And so obviously not only am I hiking for my sister, but I'm hiking for them too. So.
Ashley Huddleston. I'm also from Dallas. I hike for a good friend of mine. When I was in 8th grade, I met this girl, April, who quickly became my best friend, and we were good friends throughout middle school, high school. Unfortunately, she couldn't leave to go to college, and I left to go to college. And the second year that I was in college, she lost her battle with CF. But in 1995, she was the recipient of a dual lung transplant, which gave her about 5 extra years to live. And she lived them fiercely and well, and got her own apartment, experienced independence. I think she had a boyfriend at that time. Like, she was all about living every moment of her life, and she's still an inspiration to me today. And my daughter, Emma, is very good friends with Susan's daughter, Ava. So I am here to hike for April, my friend, and Susan's daughter, Ava, and we are on Ava's Alliance. We're strong, but we're mighty. She was doing very, very well most of her life, and then got kind of hit back to back with a flu bug. 2 years ago and had her first hospitalization in February of 2020, and then didn't completely heal, and so second hospitalization was right after the world shut down in March, and that was a very, very lonely time. I don't know if any of y'all were hospitalized during COVID, but you know, one parent at a time, and it just, we went from like game nights and movie nights and party in the hospital room the first time to really, really lonely, dark times. And so for me, I had already experienced that after she was born, and I kind of worked my way out of that. But for her, she really thought she was doing fine. And then it really hit her hard, you know, a couple years ago. So it's been a hard couple of years. She actually did start Trikafta a year and a half ago, and I'd say her physical health has completely stabilized.
So I'm here with my wife Alyssa and our friends Caitlin and Vaughn. They joined us, which is awesome. But we're hiking for our daughter Violet, 10 years old. We had some dark years at first, and then Platico came along and changed everything. So we're walking for her and everybody else.
We have two boys with CF, 28, Stephen's 28, and Luke is 25, and they're both have CF, they're both on Trikafta, and have been on all Orcan-based Deco, and it really has been a game changer for all of us, as you know. We're here because I tend to just like to find things for us to do, and Kirk's always like, okay, sure, we'll go just to go and hike. And honestly, I didn't know what we were getting into when I signed up. I had no idea. I mean, we hike leisurely, like, you know, just for fun, but this is a bigger deal. So there's that. But I had no idea the feelings, the community, this whole thing. I had no idea what we were getting into, and it really is amazing. We're both really excited, and I'm so thankful that Kirk always tags along to whatever I sign us up for, and we're already talking about what hike we'll do next. I'm talking about it, and so we're really excited. So thank y'all.
A world of difference. So I'm obviously gonna hike tomorrow. Ooh, we'll see how well that goes. I wouldn't be able to do it without, you know, all of everything you guys have done. I wouldn't be here today without you. So I just want to say thank you, and you know, I appreciate everything. So.
Ashton's 21, and he literally, about 2 hours ago, found out he got accepted into UCSD, which I never thought would be possible. And I have a daughter, Lola, who's 16, and we both have CF. And as great as Trikafta is, and as many happy stories that there are, Trikafta isn't available for everyone, and it's not the be-all, end-all for everyone. My son is doing well, but there are other body parts that are not, and so I'm walking for them for a cure. I love that we're doing infection treatments and research, but my kids don't have lung infections anymore. I love that we're working on new enzymes, but you know, the enzymes they have work pretty great right now, but we need that cure, and that's why I'm hiking.
Thank you so much for having me here. I grew up in Phoenix, and then I live in Los Angeles now. And Mitchell and I are here from Tomorrow's Leaders there. My sister Lauren has cystic fibrosis, and I always brag about her, so I'm sorry if you've heard me say this before, but she became a doctor a couple years ago. She's an OB/GYN. It's so crazy. And she's going to be doing her fellowship in high-risk pregnancies at Johns Hopkins, where Dr. Boyle works. So I'm so excited for that. And ever since she got on Trikafta.
I'm a crier, but honestly, how could you not? This is like, I'm Tara.
So I grew up with Wellesley Johnson and Marissa Johnson. They did, they're one of the first, I don't know if it was for Arizona specifically, but they had lung transplants, and they did trials, and they did what they could to get to the point knowing that they knew what they were doing was going to help people in the future. And Wellesley we lost right before, I met her in 7th grade, and she passed away right before high school graduation. So her friends and I, we still do this. We started with the Great Strides Walk, and Marissa was about 33 or 34, so she had a little bit longer of a life, and it's just, in the 25 years, like, the progress that has been made is substantial. Like, it is, honestly, with any other disease that I've tried researching, DIPG, like all these other cancers, the progress that is made and the amount of funding that everybody has done and the support and the community, it seems like it would have taken so much longer. But like, this new medicine is amazing. And like, this little girl that I met, because of course her friends and I, we walk for Wellesley and Marissa, but I met this little girl, Kennedy, when she was 2, and she got on the medicine right as they allowed it for under 6, and she's thriving, and she unfortunately broke her leg at a trampoline park, but I'm like, you get to go to a trampoline park, like, that's amazing. Like, we would come home from high school, Wellesley would
We've been involved in just about every fundraiser that your sons have for 15 years, but never the Xtreme Hike. So we were honored to be able to come here and support her and for the family, and of course for Joey and Cece.
I am hiking for many reasons, but one is my daughter-in-law, who is the bravest person that I know. She's inspirational to me. I have to tell you the story of why I decided to hike. Originally, I was watching all her posts and everything and had the information. I said, well, I don't think I can do that. Well, I don't know, maybe a couple months ago, we were driving up the Cottonwood, and an RV path that had a logo on it, and had the word Vortex. And I'm thinking, okay, that's a sign. I'm gonna go to Sedona, and I'm gonna go find that vortex. I'm hiking, and my wife Cheryl, we're involved because we don't want to go through the pain that has been endured by our family, and we just hope that the research will continue to rapidly develop to the point where CC is going to be able to continue to thrive. So I'm inspired by my
Oklahoma, and Joanne Wynn with the Eastern Oklahoma chapter told me about this because I hiked in about 5 extreme hikes in Oklahoma. We do have mountains in southeast Oklahoma, and I've been involved with the CF Foundation since 1996. My late husband Eric had CF, and since the early 80s, he and his mom and his family have been raising money for the foundation, starting in Indiana and then later in Oklahoma. And so I joined the effort in raising funds in 1996. Been doing great strides since then. So I'm on my 26th year, or 20, I don't know what, 26th year, I guess, maybe of great strides, and 6th year of Xtreme Hike. Rick was also in like a dozen clinical trials, and he would read the documents, and he did gene therapy when we thought gene therapy was the hope for cure. And reading the documents, and we saw all the side effects, and one of them was death, and I was like, you can't go through with this study. And he said, I got you. I'm like, no, you can't. So this paper was going back and forth on our table. He signed the document. He said, if I can't do this, who else is going to do this for my niece, Kelsey? So our niece, Kelsey, also has CF, which is, I think, very odd that the niece has it. And she is now on Trikafta, and She didn't take very good care of herself and was in emergency room about 3 months ago, and 6 weeks ago she started on it. And she told her grandmother the other day that she's finally feels like a normal adult. And again, that's what we're all trying to achieve here. And so I just raise money for every benefit I see and for all those who are battling this awful disease that I hate so much.
You know I'm Tony. I'm an ugly crier. So I've been with the foundation for 20 years, but I was a volunteer for 15 years before that. My best friend has 2 daughters with CF. They're both now angels. We lost Melissa in 2012, and we lost Amanda in 2019. So I am here until it's done, and I am not going anywhere, and I can't wait for the day when Charles, Molly, whoever says, okay, you're fired. We found the cure. You could go home now. So, thank you.
The age of 40. So Jack, and his life expectancy when he was born, I learned, was the age of 40. And I just learned today that the age now for a life expectancy of a child born is 50. So we are really getting there, and I'm so inspired by all of you and the foundation, how much it does. And this trifecta, Jack's been on that now for 8 months, and it has been a game changer. He didn't go to school right away, and so he just started right before Christmas, and he's doing fine. And so I'm very, very grateful for the foundation and everything that everybody does for me. I took care of Jack when his mother and father found out he had CF, and once they